Good evening, and thank you for everyone's patience. We will officially start the Calaveras Council of Governments meeting for May 7th, 2025. If you could please stand for the pledge. Oh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm backwards, but at least we got that out of the way. We'll move on to the first agenda item, which is closed session. Tonight we have closed session, which is conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Agency designee representatives Caroline Serrato, Gary Toffanelli, and Tim Ruiz. Unrepresented employee, the executive director. At this time, before we go into closed session, is there any public comment? Okay, seeing that there is no public comment, we will be closing this down temporarily. Board members, we will move next door into another room for closed session, and then we will come back after closed session and report out. Are there any questions? Board members, stay here. Anyone that's not supposed to be in closed session, please exit the room, and we will call you back in later. I apologize. I thought we were doing the opposite. Hey, thank you and welcome back. Next agenda item is number 2, report out of closed session. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, at this time there is no reportable action. We will move on to item number 3, which is motion to approve members' request participation remotely due to emergency circumstances. I don't believe we have all our board members are here, so we will skip over item number 3. Next is, I'm going to go back to that. Just for the record, I think we're going to leave this standing just in case something happens. Is that what we're doing?
Number 3?
Yeah, number 3?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next is the consent agenda. We have multiple items on the consent agenda. Is there any board member that wishes to pull a consent agenda item? Seeing none, are there any public comments? Seeing none in the room, none online, I'll move it back to the board. Is there a motion to approve consent?
So moved.
Moved by Tim, is there a second?
Second. All right.
Second by Gary, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Okay. Next is regular agenda. We have item number 9, which is the public comment. It's limited to 5 minutes per person. Comments should be limited to items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council and not on the posted agenda. Is there any public comment for any items not on the agenda? Seeing none in the room, none online, we'll move on to item number 10. These are quarterly. Next we have Caltrans report. Oh, sorry, there's a new face. Sorry about that. Come on up.
Okay.
So we've got item number 10. We got Caltrans report. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Sylvia Diag. I'm usually here as the investment planning manager. Gregoria Ponce has returned back to her old position. She was acting as a deputy district director for planning, local assistance, and environmental for 12 months. That's the max she can do. So she returned back. I'm filling in for about 2 weeks, and then we have someone new acting for the next 12 months. The person that will be taking the position, his name is Caleb Brock. He is also with Caltrans already out of the Fresno office and will be reporting to our office next week. In terms of other staffing updates, our Caltrans director, Tony Tavares, has retired or is retiring this month. We have not received an announcement yet who his replacement will be, but we're looking forward to that. On federal policy changes and updates, our Caltrans Division of Local Assistance is currently updating their manual, and the reason behind is to make sure that all the executive orders that are coming from the administrative office are being addressed and adhered to as well. In terms of grants, there's currently the Safe Streets and Roads for All funding grant available. The application deadline for that is June 26th of this year. There are no other federal grants currently available. And I believe our planning office has also provided comments on the RTP, the upcoming RTP. We're looking forward to receiving the final version of that. Those are all my updates.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Gay?
I just want to thank District 10 for sending out the emails we get almost weekly, giving us updates on what's going on. I get Amadors and Tuolumne and Calaveras and what's going on. So I want to thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
And also, I noticed that you are mowing down Highway 12 this week, and that's my district, most of all of my district. I want to thank you because it looks wonderful.
Awesome. I will pass
So
that on. Thank you.
tell them they're doing a great job.
Thank you. I will pass it on.
Any other questions from board members? None? Okay. Thank
you.
you for being here.
Thank you, of course.
And we'll move on to the next item is local agency report, if they are present. So we've got the county here. Micah, welcome up.
Hello, just a quick update on some of our projects we're working in partnership with the COG on. We awarded the contract for our comprehensive safety action plan, and we're beginning the planning efforts on that. That's part of the Safe Streets for All program. We also have our Safe Routes to School project that's in design right now. We're about 35% plans on that project, so we're excited to be making progress there and looking to go to construction in fiscal year 27-28. And then our Keep Calaveras Clean program, we had our first cleanup event. It was on April 26th at Valley Springs Memorial Park. We didn't have a really big turnout, but we did get to collect a lot of trash. We had several bags of trash and debris that was cleaned up and some larger bulky items that had been dumped in the area. And so the park was nice and clean and taken care of when we left. And that's one of several that we'll be doing throughout the year. So we'll keep you updated on when our next event will be. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? No? Okay. Thank you, Micah. Shitty's not here, so I'll move.
Did Amy join online? Yeah. So
Oh, Amy is here? Okay. Amy?
We don't have anything to report.
Okay, move. Yeah, no, that's why we, okay. Okay, so moving on, item number 12. Minute order approving the award of professional service agreement with LSC Transportation Consultants for the Calaveras County Short Range Transit Plan update. And I will move it to Erin. I got it right this time.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Board. The Short Range Transit Plan is a 5-year strategic planning document required under the Transportation Development Act for agencies that receive state and federal transit funding, and it guides local transit operations, capital investments, and service improvements. This Short Range Transit Plan update will evaluate changes and progress made since the adoption of the 2021 plan, including comprehensive review of service modifications implemented since in the post-pandemic period, such as route adjustments, changes to service frequency and span, and the introduction or discontinuation of specific services. And it analyzes ridership trends, system performance, and the cost effectiveness of these changes. It'll also assess how these revisions have supported key goals, including improving access, enhancing financial efficiencies, service efficiencies, and meeting the mobility needs of transit-dependent populations. COG issued a request for proposals on February 19th, 2025, of course. Only one proposal was received by the due date of March 28th, 2025. It's always preferred to have multiple submissions, but it's not unusual, especially with specialized transit planning projects, to see few submissions in an RFP process. COG staff evaluated the received proposal and found it to be fully responsive to the RFP scope of work and scoring criteria. And the proposing consultant demonstrated a strong understanding of the scope of work, their relevant experience in transit planning, and their capacity to deliver a high-quality short-range transit plan for Calaveras County. Based on this evaluation, staff recommends moving forward with the contract award for LSC Transportation Consultants for Calaveras County Short Range Transit Plan update. And then I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Are there any questions from the board? Are there any questions from the public or comment from the public? Seeing none in the room, none online, I'll move it back to the board. Any discussion, questions? If not, I will ask for a motion.
So moved.
There's a motion. Second by Pat. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're good. Passes. Okay. We move on to item number 13, which is resolution number 2524, approve resolution revising the reserve balance for the main operating fund 6100 and rescind resolution fiscal year 24-26. With that, I'll move it to the executive director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff is requesting the council rescind Resolution 2426, which is in your packet on page 208. This resolution allocated $303,000 of RSTP funding back in 2012 originally. This funding was allocated to be the operating reserve in our main overall work program fund, 6100. Funding, like RSTP is needed. It's needed for project delivery. It's the cleanest type of funding. So I'm requesting that we rescind this resolution that allocated the RSTP in the operating fund. We put it back in the RSTP fund. And if this council approves the next item, this RSTP funding will be needed in that fund. I will bring back a separate reserve for this fund using LTF funding from the appropriations of fiscal year 25-26. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the board regarding the reserve? Scott?
Yeah, so we're basically, if I understand this, we're wiping out the reserves in that account. You're going to come back with some more reserves later?
Yep.
And what amount? And why are educate me please on why
Okay.
reserves are required or
So it's the color of money that we're using for the reserve that I don't support the recommendation. So RSTP funding has historically been for project delivery. It's very easy for city and county to use it on their projects. So I'm recommending that we still have a reserve, and the methodology has been approximately 3 months of operating accounts payable, which equates to around 300 to 325, because in our operating account, it's all reimbursable. 60% of our revenue is reimbursable. So we need a reserve for cash flow. So I will come back in June and identify an LTF reserve within this operating fund so that city and county projects can utilize the additional $303,000.
You're recalculating.
Yes.
And is there a reason that's not done simultaneously? So we have a month basically with no reserves?
Yeah. Well, because we're only have 2 more months and I haven't used any contingencies, I've received almost all of my revenue to fulfill my budget. So I didn't think for the month that it would hurt us. And LTF comes in monthly. So as we receive the remaining LTF, I'll use that and come back and identify the reserve.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board comments or questions? Seeing none, is there any public comments? And none online, we'll bring it back to the board. Is there a motion to approve item number 13?
So moved.
Moved by Pat, second by Tim. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Next is item number 14, minute order approving revised regional surface transportation program planning. Programming.
Yeah.
Program pro-
Regional Surface Transportation
RSTP.
Program
Two
funding.
program words in there that throw me off.
Sorry.
Okay. Executive Director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff is recommending the council approve these revisions to the RSTP programming. The first item is the City of Angels requested an amendment to the Angels Creek Bike and Pedestrian Project. If you remember, they adjusted and revised their programming of CMAQ funding at our April meeting. So this is just housekeeping. We're going to move this RSTP funding to align with their CMAQ funding, and this will keep their project whole. So that's one part of the amendment. You can see the current and proposed programming on page 210. The county is also requesting to advance funding programs from fiscal year 26-27 and requesting to move it to 25-26. The council approved this programming of $2.2 million of RSTP as match funds to the TSEP grant, which was phase 2 right-of-way. So this last year allowed the county to utilize their RIM funds because they had to earmark $2.2 million in RIM funds as the match. But to assist the county, the COG in 2024 voted to backfill that match with RSTP. So this RSTP that I'm amending has already been earmarked for Wagon Trail. We're requesting now to move it forward to construction. And this would decrease the total programming because the match formula was 2.2. I'm only requesting that 2 million be moved forward, and the 200,000 will remain in the RSTP fund. Then we'll add the reserve back in, and this will make sure that if we have invoices or requests from the city project and the other 2 projects still ongoing, we'll have the cash to pay that. Another caveat is we moved the 1 million from construction on phase 2 at our meeting in April, and we moved it to right-of-way. And so that was the first action to backfill this 2.2. So we will receive our estimates in June or July for our RTIP, and I anticipate the same amount of funding, and I will bring it to the board if they want to program it on right-of-way and close up that match funding.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I have a question only
Okay.
because I think I asked it a couple meetings ago.
Okay.
And I didn't know if it would be in the report or not. What is the delivery schedule for the Angels Creek bike?
What is the what?
Delivery schedule for the Angels Creek?
We
And what
moved-
phase? Like I think we were discussing the delivery, and is that delivery for the entirety of the project or phase 1 and phase 2? What
Staff
is this
is-
going towards?
Staff, City of Angels staff is currently working on right-of-way. They're getting their quotes and estimates. They're still moving forward on the project. I'm working closely with them because if they get through right-of-way, revise their budget on construction management and construction, we have the RSTP, so I can advance it if they need it. But they're working right now on right-of-way. And Amy's online if she wants to correct anything.
Is that
I
phase
just
1
said.
or phase 2 or the whole thing?
The whole thing. They don't have.
Amanda, what we did was we are pursuing taking phase 1 and chopping it into 2 pieces so that we can expedite one of the phases. In other words, the Greenhorn Creek to Highway 49 phase, we want to expedite that because we're basically ready to go. And we've got a tiny bit of environmental to finish up on the 49 to Stelty phase. So we're going to try to basically chop that into 2 and start as soon as possible on that Greenhorn to the highway section.
Okay, so it is still divided into 2, but, okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay. And that was the only question I had, because I asked it at the last meeting and
Yeah.
was curious. Okay. Any other questions? Any public comments? Seeing none in person, none online, we'll bring it back to the board. Is there a motion to approve agenda item number 14?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Scott, second by Trevor. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 15, which is council reports. So I will start with Tim.
I have nothing to report.
Trevor?
I have nothing to report.
Scott?
No report.
Pat?
No report.
Gay?
Yes, next Tuesday, we have the annual frog jump here at Calaveras County Government Center. And then on Thursday, the fair starts. So mark it on your calendar, make sure you go get tickets, and see you at the fair.
And transit is,
And I was just I'm not gonna steal that update from Aaron. I'll let
okay,
Aaron.
that'll be on the next meeting too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Caroline?
When are you jumping a frog against Mike Chimente? Aren't you guys dueling it out?
That would be the chairman, so Martin.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was supervisor versus, okay.
Yeah, it should be Martin. Martin and the mayor.
Martin, okay. The park is doing a soft opening on May 12th, and it will remain open until and we will have the grand opening on May 31st. And then one other thing I just want to note is that we did have a Firewise presentation 2 council meetings ago, and I wanted to report that we already have 680 dwellings participating in the Firewise program.
All right.
So that's really outstanding. So 80.
That's awesome.
So that's all.
And I have nothing to report. We'll move on to item number 16, which is staff reports. Ann? Okay, we will adjourn the COG meeting. The next scheduled meeting is June 4th at 5:30 right here in this room. And we will move on to Calaveras Connect. Do we need a minute? Does anybody need a break? Is everyone good? Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, move to Calaveras Connect, and we'll go straight to consent agenda. There are multiple items on the consent agenda. Is there any board member that wishes to pull a consent agenda item? Seeing none, is there any public comment? Move back to the board. Is there a motion to approve consent?
So moved.
Moved by Pat, second by Trevor. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Yep, seeing none, that passes. Move on to regular agenda. First up is public comment. Is there any public comment for any items not on the agenda? Seeing none in person, none online, we'll move on to item number 6. Minute order approving fiscal year 24-25. Operation Budget Amendment Number 3, Executive Director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you would like to look at the chart detailing this budget amendment on page 12, staff is recommending this budget amendment, which would decrease the total budget by $269,000. As we get through the tail end of the fiscal year, we're trying to tighten this up, especially in transit. The first line item, 4411, state transit assistance, we've decreased by $50,000. Estimates that were provided by the state controller's office are not coming in as estimated. So we've decreased this by $50,000, and we'll keep the council updated when we bring our final budget to actual. Line item 4468 is LTF funding. We're decreasing this by $541,000. And what will offset this is down towards the bottom is we're going to be utilizing fund balance. And why that is most of you may remember federal transit assistance comes in and we're reimbursed approximately $350,000 to $400,000 annually, and we receive it in the next fiscal year. So that is the fund balance. So I'm utilizing federal funds that were received after the close of the fiscal year on transit services so that we don't use our local funding.
I have a question.
Sure.
Given what's going on right now, this could be big next year. So we need to be very careful in the budget going.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've received our allocation for next fiscal year,
Sure.
but we aren't guaranteed the next fiscal year.
Okay.
And so we're in a good phase because we're just starting the short-range transit plan, which will evaluate funding sources, which will evaluate services, what's working, how are we going to be efficient. And if we do receive word that federal funding for transit services will be cut, we will have to bring back service changes to this council because we will not be able to pay for it.
Thank
So.
you. So just so everybody knows.
Yep, yep. The next line item is 5271, professionalized services. This decrease, when we awarded the design contract for Aspen Street Architects, we budgeted the contingencies. We are not using or have not used any of these contingencies, so I'm asking to take them out of the budget. We'll tighten up the budget to actuals, and when we come back with our final, we'll re-budget contingencies. The next item, line item is 5272, professional services. This is our paratransit operations contract. It's increasing 66,000. That is based on actual service for Dial-A-Ride. It has been very popular after COVID, and with Common Grounds, not providing that service to those riders, we have picked up a lot of riders, and they all like Dial-A-Ride. They call ahead, they come and pick you up, they take you. So it's been very popular. So this would bring our total decrease to 269. We detailed in the staff report, we received 3 buses and 1 van this fiscal year, so another heavy year of capital assets. They are all in service now and wrapped, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions from the board? No? Okay. Any public comment? Seeing none in the room, none online, we'll bring it back to the board. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Moved by Tim, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Caroline. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, passes. Move on to item number 7, but I don't see Cynthia here. So we can skip over? Okay. We'll move on to item number 8, which is staff reports. Is there any, Ed?
I got stuff.
Yeah.
Not a ton, but so we've just closed April. Cynthia isn't here. She did ask me to share that they had their annual CHP inspection and they passed, which they've done every year, so it's very happy though. I did want to share that we had a CTC emissions test for our diesel. It's a new requirement that began this year, and that vehicle passed, so that's exciting. And then I think what Melissa was alluding to earlier is that CTA will again have its table or booth at the fair. We'll be there Thursday through Sunday. We're actually going to be, oh crud, I can't remember the building name. It's where they have all Tom Sawyer building, where they have all the local exhibits. So we'll have some fun giveaways, some transit information. If anybody has questions about services, send them our way. And at the same time, we'll actually share the space for COG, and we'll talk about our ATRTP and our RTP plans as well. So just send everybody to our table. I just want them all.
I noticed that on the flyer for the fair pickup, in town. It said downtown/visitor center. Is it the museum that they're picking up, or is it at Pickle Porch? Because
It's Pickled Porch is what it originally was. So.
okay. That's just a detail I think that you might want to
Yeah,
update, because
absolutely.
I don't want people to end up at the museum thinking that's the visitor center. So.
And Martin will have to give him a ride.
Yeah. And then I wanted to note that I did ride the transit for Irish Days. I wasn't here last month, and it was great. I do wish you had a little tracker on there so you could see where the bus was exactly, because you're waiting and waiting and waiting, but that's just a wish list item.
And I will say that I will be joining Aaron on Friday at the fair booth, COG fair booth. So, yeah, which I do almost every year. We day there with her. So.
Bring snacks.
And Susan, I don't know if you can get that, if you can see that or whatever, if you zoom in on that. That is free rides to the fair.
All right, here, let me,
From Calaveras Connect.
It's pretty great.
I want to make sure everybody sees that.
can you PDF the new flyer to us?
And it may be free, but you can always tip the bus drivers. So
And the pickup's downtown, not at the museum.
did you get it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ann, do you have anything? Melissa? No? Before we adjourn, I do want to, I know I'm kind of acting off script because we did not have council reports on this, and I should have said it earlier, but anyways, I would like to get the pulse on the board if you would be okay having staff put on the agenda and work with Monica to put an item to discuss an ad hoc committee to work with staff on the transit facility. And so I want to give enough time for staff to work on that with Monica, but I want to see if that's something of interest to this board or not, so staff doesn't do this work and bring it to us in June. Is that something that the board would be interested in discussing?
What's the timing of that?
So what staff is looking for is 3 board members to assist. We're getting to the phase where they're bringing forward colors and carpet and windows and lots of selections. So instead of trying to, at every meeting, bring all of the stuff up in front, if we can come up with the list of items through the ad hoc and then bring those items to the full council.
And I would say to make it fair and equal, maybe 1 city member, 1 county member, and 1 public member. So that way
Yes,
we're covered.
yes, I agree. I agree.
What's the time frame of meetings?
They would be quarterly. So we're getting ready for a quarterly meeting to get an update on the facility. So I can put an item on there. I'll work with Monica to appoint the ad hoc committee. And then we'll set up meetings with Aspen Street and we'll go over those items and then bring them back to the council.
And the ad hoc is only supposed to be for a certain duration, so it would have a sunset date on
Yes.
that. And Monica and staff can work on that, and we can hit that sunset date. And if we've got to reevaluate, depending on where we're at, we'll go through another process. But there will be a sunset date on the ad hoc. So,
Correct.
anything like, so I kind of threw that out, Monica, but any other information you need from us to help build that agenda item?
No, I think that's great. So I can work on that and bring it back at a subsequent meeting.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So we got a thumbs up? We're good. Okay. With that, we will go adjourn the meeting and we will see everybody back here June 4th at 5:30 in this room. Thank you.